Well, making his way to the blue corner is the 28-year-old Sakın Bibosınov, one of the most experienced IBA 3-round boxers in the world, the 2021 world champion, the Tokyo Olympic bronze medalist. Here at the semi-finals, he beat Nepal's history man Chandra Thapa on a unanimous verdict. Thapa becoming Nepal's first ever medalist at a world championships. At the quarter-final stage, he beat the number 2 seed Mwengo Mwali, part of his route through from the round of 32 to the gold medal bout. He's the number 7 seed. Rogozin is the number 8 seed.
Ladies and gentlemen, your judges for this contest come from Croatia, Afghanistan, Algeria, Kyrgyzstan and Serbia.
Thank you. So the difference in height between the two during those final instructions for the referee, no prizes for guessing the tactics.
Round
the
one.
more compact figure, the southpaw wearing red. Vyacheslav Rogozin has got to try and somehow get inside the greater range and reach of a man who's currently operating as a southpaw but is an adept switch hitter, and that is Sakın Bibosınov. It's a classic IBA boxing matchup between Russia and Kazakhstan. Two men who have already been to the top of the world in an IBA World Championships. I was ringside last year at the seaside resort of Budva, Montenegro, to commentate on him winning World Youth Gold, and here he is just a year later, still only 19 years of age, making all that good overhand left, and Bibosınov covering up as Rogozin looking to bomb away with that southpaw backhand. Bibosınov has taken a couple of counts during this tournament, but when he took a count, he came back and gave his own man, the same guy, 2 counts in the round of 16 against Issa Faki of Tanzania. Good right hook to the body from Bibosınov, who is going to be very difficult to ruffle. But look at the manner in which the teenager is scoring to the open areas that are presenting themselves, dropping down and picking his punches very effectively indeed to both head and body. And he goes about his work with a poker-faced expression, gives absolutely nothing away, and so far he's the man who has found his range more effectively in the opening half of the first round of this gold medal bout. And Bibosınov, well, he's finding him living in his chest. Look at the bent arm shots being slugged in above the belt line by Rogozin. And Bibosınov has got to try and get that lead right stick working. He's beaten to the jab there, but then drops down and scores with a jab to the body of his own. And Rogozin again sending tottering backwards and double him over with that right hook to the body. Then came with a left hook downstairs, piecing him up through the middle with 2 uppercuts that came from underneath and up in between the high-held hands of Bibosınov. Bibosınov has really got to try and respond and get something together here in the final minutes. There's a right hook which may begin to turn the tide for the 2021 world champion. But what was that? 3 right uppercuts in a row from Rogozin. Drops down, scores with a left cross to the body that came behind a right jab. And this is volume and precise punching and placement being exhibited by Rogozin, showing no fear of the occasion, the reputation, or the man in front of him. And he is boxing beautifully through the first 2.5 minutes of the round. Solid left cross in between the gloves once again, scoring to both head and body to terrific effect. Leaping left cross followed by another left hand, and Rogozin having his way with Sakın Bibosınov in this first round. So Bibosınov trying to get his right jab working. Right hook again catches Bibosınov as he was thinking about coming forward, and Rogozin so confident that he dropped his hands at the end of the round, just in a little dance of embellishment of what he did in the first 3 minutes.
Well, I was going to say that this is what he's been like all week, but he's actually lifted it a level for the final, because that was outstanding. And Bibosınov has got a lot to do in this second round now, because if you look at the way that IBA boxing is scored, 10-9 for a close round win, 10-8 for a clear round win, we could have 10-8s there. You could argue that we should have, because that was dominant, and the right hand he landed towards the end. Another referee may have given a standing count there. Not that that would necessarily make too much difference to the scoring, but it's just a variety, and the punch output, the front foot pressure, but he's going after him, and That's incredible.
Wow.
That is absolutely incredible. How on earth can you score that round to Serkan Bibosынov? That is
seconds out.
Bewildering, quite frankly.
So we move into the second round after 3 minutes of excellence produced by Vyacheslav Rogozin, but yet somehow judges 2 and 3 have scored the opening round in favor of the man in blue, and I'm not sure, short of knocking the man down, which, as we've already explained, doesn't necessarily trigger a 10-8 round, but I'm not sure what more the man could have done to win more decisively than what he produced in the first 3 minutes. I'm perhaps mindful of the fact that it's close. He's on the front foot, backing his man up once again, and he's setting the pace in his first 30 seconds. And he's just not giving the man any room to breathe, is Rogozin. Look at those uppercuts and hooks through the middle and around the corner. And that intervention to speak to Bibosынov about hitting and holding, probably coming at an opportune time, because Rogozin simply will not leave him alone. He's being forced backward. Now he's trying to hold his feet and fight back. But this is absolutely sensational boxing on the inside, being produced by the 2024 World Youth Champion. Here he is in his first appearance at a senior elite World Championships, and against a man who took Olympic bronze in Tokyo, who topped the podium in Belgrade 2021. Well, the scorecard suggests different, but to my mind, he's dominating this contest here through the first round and a half. But Bibosынov, a proud elite boxer, and he will know that he's got to try and raise it. That's why he's trying to bring his own bent arm work into play. There's a nice long right hook landed by Bibosынov, but continuing to keep on pressing is Rogozin, and the composure that the teenager is showing is notable indeed. Good right hand to the body from Bibosынov, but then a left hook to the body without reply, twice in quick succession for first and third boxing, because Bibosынov did land a left cross. There he slings in a beautiful right hook beneath the left elbow of Rogozin, catches him with a left cross, but Rogozin keeps on coming through the punches that are scoring upon him, and he's the busier boxer. The boxer showing greater variety in his work, greater imagination. Bibosынov trying to stay with him, but look at the punch output in non-stop fashion from Vyacheslav Rogozin. Now Bibosынov tries to get busy. He nods in the direction of Rogozin as if to say, okay, let's turn it up. And happy to accommodate him is Rogozin, but some left-hand successes as he managed to establish a gap. Bibosынov, can he do that more often? He's the taller, longer, rangier boxer, but yet everything that he's throwing for the most part has been right in the wheelhouse of Rogozin, and it's been bent-arm trade-offs, which for my money Rogozin has got the better of once again overall. But there's a beautiful, and a left hook right uppercut has brought about a standing count inside the 10-second clapper of the second round. Dramatic conclusion to the round. Now, as we've been at pains to point out, an 8 count will not necessarily spark a 10-8 round, but it was a notable point of clean scoring. But if we take into account how the rounds have been scored all week, it should be Rogozin's round for my money.
It was a much closer round than the first round, that's for sure, and this is a fantastic fight, because Bibosынov had a lot more success in that second round than he did in the first round, but Rogozin in the first minute and a half and throughout the course of the round did some very, very good work there too. So if we get a split in that second round, I think that would be, or could be, a fair reflection. The first round should have been 5-0 to Rogozin. There's absolutely no question in my mind about that. Bibosынov finished well, as you say. He did finish strongly and he picked some good punches. I would still slightly lean towards the red corner, but let's see what we've got here. Well, we've got, he swept it. Bibosынov has swept it. 10-9s with all of the judges, so he now has a 2-point lead with Afghanistan and Algeria going into the final round. The other 3 cards are level.
And perhaps that standing count inside the final 10 seconds of the round was enough to tip the balance unanimously in favor of Serkan Bibosынov. He has got himself right back into this contest after enduring a pretty tricky first 3 minutes, even though 3-2 scores were returned in favor of Rogozin. But it was difficult to conclude how anybody could score that first 3 minutes for Bibosынov, but 2 of the judges did. So it's all come down to a 3-minute shootout with 3 level scores at 19 points apiece, 2 of them 2018 in favor of Bibosынov. So it's advantage Bibosынov because he just needs to convince one of the judges who have it level that he's the better boxer, and he's going toe-to-toe with Rogojin, and now will seek to impose his experience and bring it to bear. But looking to show the qualities of youth is Rogojin, but he walks onto a right hook there. He can't afford to let his punches go in reckless fashion. That's how he was picked off and given the 8 count in the closing stages of the round. And Bibosынov having more success with the southpaw left, but Rogojin continuing to press, changing angles in front of his man and scoring effectively to the body. So the referee intervening with the instruction to remind the boxers to keep their heads up. And on the resumption, it's Rogojin jumping all over Bibosынov. Both boxers step back into the breach. Bibosынov driven back to the ropes, totally square, presenting that full-size target. Rogojin with an eye-catching left cross. Bibosынov comes back with a jab and was in search of the left uppercut, which was part of the 2-shot combination that triggered the count at the end of the second. Beyond the halfway stage, and it is a very up-tempo round, but jumping backwards, trying to avoid the shots with Bibosынov. Rogojin may have just put the man from Kazakhstan on the end of them. And again, letting his hands go in straight fashion, and some of these shots are slipping through the defenses of Bibosынov. He comes back with a good right hand to the body. And cries of Russia, Russia ringing around the arena here. Bibosынov with a burst of punches before spinning off the line to his left. Rogojin follows him every step of the way and continues to hound him to the body with just about 30 seconds remaining. So Bibosынov presenting a different posture now, hands down by his belt line, and the left hand did get through. Both boxers then inaccurate. Bibosınov's long left cross goes over the shoulder of Rogojin. Rogojin back into his preferred territory, scoring with a burst of shoe-shine punches to the body. That countered by Bibosынov. Closing 10 seconds of the round, and a moment of quality here could well prove to be decisive. And it's Rogojin on the front foot. The 2 men swinging away freely. Both men having success, both men inaccurate as well. And it's Rogojin who ends the contest, punching right up until the final bell. He thinks that he's done enough, but a reminder of the scores going into the final round. This man led 20 points to 18 for judges 2 and 3. The scorecards of judges 1, 4 and 5 with deadlocks at 19 points apiece.
Advisor of the Secretary General of the Kazakhstan.
Well, for my money, Rogojin has done enough to win that fight. What we should have had going into the final round was 5 scores of 19-19, because he won that opening round 5-0 in my view, and it wasn't hard to score. I even wondered if we'd have 10-8, 10-9s across the board of Bibosынov in round 2. Debatable, but not scandalised by that. And it means that he's got it all to do in the final round here. Bout review, so that means that it was 3-2 with the scoring judges at ringside, and that will trigger the 2 additional scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest and now IBA World Champion by a split decision, in the blue corner, representing Kazakhstan, Sakan Bibosынov.
Well, Sakan Bibosынov silently raises that right arm to the night sky here in Dubai at having been declared a split decision victor over the teen sensation Vyacheslav Rogojin, who brought the heat to the boxing ring in this gold medal bout. Took the first round on a 3-2 split when it appeared to be a dominant 3 minutes of boxing. and he has been edged out 5-2 overall in a contest that went to bout review. The World Youth Champion becomes the Elite Senior World Championship silver medalist, and he receives a prize of $150,000 US. Sensational tournament for him, but the man receiving his second World Championship gold, adding to the one that he won in Belgrade 4 years ago, is Bibosınov.
And now,
prevailing in a really hard-fought contest against a determined, talented teenage opponent, and Bibosınov is the world champion.